I'm Elizabeth Henson. Welcome to the Messy Success Podcast, where I'm helping creative dreamers and overachievers tackle business and life. After 6 years of being my own boss, I finally unraveled a tiny bit of what it takes to survive in this amazing world of being an overly creative entrepreneur. I'm your business bestie, here to help you with all those big ideas and to normalize some of the day-to-day struggles that we all share. My mission is simple. I want more women to make a living doing what they love and to feel good about themselves in the process. The best way to start? We can't do it alone. So welcome. I hope you'll hang out with me here where it's totally okay to be messy. Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode of the Messy Success Podcast. I'm your host, Elizabeth Henson. I am so excited. I have an amazing guest today, Kari Roberts. She is a dear friend of mine. We have been in 2 mastermind programs together, but we actually never really overlapped until I launched my podcast and I shared it in one of our, mastermind groups, and she was so supportive and she went and listened, and kind of slowly but surely we built up this connection. And then this year she joined my Shine Elite program, which is my super elite coaching program for members of the Shine the Light Society. And I have been very hands-on in her business brainstorming and watching her do this amazing pivot from makeup artist to business coach. She is so humble and so kind, and I have to constantly remind her that that is one of her best qualities, that it is totally fine to take the stage, to be vulnerable, to be real, and she really, really rocks that. And I've just loved getting to know her. I can't wait to share her with you. She's truly been such a little gift in my life for the past, year. I can't believe we're coming up on a year of launching the podcast. Like, how crazy is that? So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Kari Roberts. She's a business coach for women who have full-time jobs, but also want to start or grow their creative side business, a side hustle, as so many of us like to refer to it. She helps them figure out time management and networking skills that allow them to grow their business while still having enough time and energy for work, business, and home life. Kari is a beast at planning, let me tell you. She knows all about being a multi-passionate entrepreneur. She's been working as a full-time physical therapist for 15 years, and she's also been a very successful freelance makeup artist for 7 years. She's received numerous awards in both industries, including a corporate-wide star award as a physical therapist and multiple Wedding Wire Couples Choice Awards as a makeup artist. She's been on numerous other podcasts, including She Creates Business, Journeys in Business, Wedding Unscripted, so many more. And she was featured in an online magazine, Voyage ATL Atlanta, and the Rising Tide Society blog. When she isn't being a serial helper through one of her businesses, she enjoys watching sports with her husband, walking in the park with her dogs, listening to podcasts, and sampling tasty bourbons. Ooh, I didn't know that, Kari. And catching up on reality TV. I love Kari. I love her relationship with her husband. We talk about that on this podcast episode a little bit too. She is just super, super sweet. I feel like anybody is lucky to have Kari in their corner, and I'm so excited to share her with you today. We're going to talk all things business and her story and pivoting from the makeup industry into business coaching, what that has looked like for her. One thing I love so much about Kari is you can just tell that she takes her business very seriously, and that vibe is so obvious and so apparent. And so many of us struggle to make some of those big business decisions that really will take us to the next level. And she really does that. So with no further ado, let's go ahead and get started on Kari's interview. I hope that you enjoy it. Oh, one quick announcement that I also mentioned at the end. We will be taking next week off for the 4th of July holiday week. I am so excited that I finally set myself up for that this year. So I hope that you guys also get to unplug and take some time off next week. But we will be back in July to celebrate our 1-year anniversary of the podcast. So excited. So anyways, enjoy Kari. Here we go. Hi, Kari, and welcome. I'm so excited to have you here on the Messy Success podcast today and introduce you to all my people. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Hello, I'm so excited to be here.
And you are heading out of town next week. You are going to be one of the speakers at Creative at Heart, right?
Yes, you just have me jumping right in. Yeah, I'm still a ball of nerves about it, but yep, I leave. It is Friday right now. I leave Monday morning.
Oh my gosh, so exciting. Well, we'll definitely dig into that in just a minute, but let's get started. And, I kind of told them about who you are, what you do, but I want you to tell them your journey. Like, what exactly sparked you to kind of pivot from your makeup business into coaching?
Okay, so I started makeup because I realized that I wanted a creative outlet, and the process of learning how to be an entrepreneur and how to be a really good makeup artist, hopefully I am, it was a really fun process. And I started to offer makeup lessons when I got comfortable with it. And then over the years, people that were inquiring about makeup lessons were really other makeup artists that once we talked and met with each other, I realized that they had more of a need of having business foundations and building a sustainable business than they did being an artist. So that's what made me think about dabbling into coaching over here. And then on the other side, I've been in a couple of different masterminds, and I always found myself to be like the encourager, the leader. I have had other entrepreneur friends reach out to me when they were having pivots in their business or just different questions. And I was actually listening to a recording of a podcast I was on a couple of years ago, and I was like, I bet you I could help people with their business. So I started looking into that and discussed it with some business friends that I have and my mentor, and decided that now is as good a time of any to just make that pivot.
I love it. And you're the best kind of leader because you're humble. And I feel like you're so humble and you're so kind.
Oh,
That
thank
was just
you.
like my absolute favorite kind of people to be around, like full of gratitude, all that stuff. And you still have a day job. So you're still doing all of this on the side. So I know that you specifically like working with women who are trying to grow their side hustle or their side business. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. So I still have my full-time job. I work 32 hours a week, roughly. I work 4 days out of the week. I'm a physical therapist. And I went down the I'm going to leave my 9 to 5 road a couple of years ago because I felt like that's what I had to do. And as I was going down that journey, makeup became a lot more like work and a lot less fun. So I decided for filling my cup and making me still joyful to do it, I did not want to do makeup full time. But then also, I really love the skills and the tools that I have to be a physical therapist and help my patients. So I just knew that I could, if I just maneuvered things a little bit, I could kind of make it work. Did I answer? Did I answer the
Y-
question?
Yes, yes. No, but I love helping people with that because, some people feel like you said so much pressure to quit their day job like, well, this is the next step. This is what I have to do and, or maybe they don't like their day job and they just feel like it's all or nothing and I'm like, no one, there's no script or no right way to do this and, we can apply for different day jobs that might better complement our side hustles, like the sky is the limit as far as what's out there. So I love that you kind of were like, you know what? Like, I want this to feel like joy. So I'm going to go back, and have everything be balanced.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So speaking of balance, and you have your full time job, your makeup, and now your coaching business. Gosh, I sound like I'm talking to myself with all the things, right?
Yes.
But you are so good at budgeting your time. And I know you just did a workshop about this. So tell us a little bit about what your day looks like and how you make that work.
Okay. So I have to say I'm totally type A. And initially when my makeup business started to grow, I had my life was completely in different compartments. It was totally compartmentalized. And then I realized I felt like at that point I was spreading myself too thin. So I just put everything in one Google planner, everything's in one paper planner. So it's like I'm one person, I have one day a week. I'm going to manage my time that way. And as a physical therapist, I have learned how to manage time because I worked in a clinic where I would have a new patient every 15 to 30 minutes. And I have that skill to be able to manage time and be as efficient as possible. And I was like the total opposite when I came home. It was like oh, I get groceries whenever the pantry's bare, or I clean or do laundry when I have no more clothes to wear. Like I was just like, I don't want to be that organized. But then one day it just kind of hit me like, why don't you take some of those skills home and see what that'll do to your life? So I every week I just lay out what my day looks like. And for me, my priority is personal and spiritual and family. So that always gets plotted on my calendar first. And then makeup, I have some goals with makeup as far as how many jobs I'll do a month or how many jobs I'll do a week. So I'll plot those. And then there's certain times that I'll work on my coaching business. So then I plot those. But it's like anything that's in the personal realm gets put on the monthly calendar first. And then when I'm looking at my calendar on a weekly basis, that stuff gets plotted first. So that makes me feel the most in control of my schedule. And then that makes me feel, I think that like work life balance is a complete misnomer. And I feel like it's like drinking the Kool-Aid. There's no such thing as work life balance. You can't, they both can't be equal. I like to think of it more as like harmony, or like, sometimes you'll have more energy in one area, and then it'll flex. Like weekends, I might be more with my business or like content creation during the week. I'm definitely more in my 9 to 5. During the evenings is about my husband. So I think that everything kind of ebbs and flows, but if it can ebb and flow with like harmony, kind of like a rhythm, then that's where I feel like I'm comfortable. And after I lay out those parameters, and then if something else comes up, like a job opportunity just came up with me with makeup, and it will be the perfect one, but that will put me over how many makeup jobs I want to do per month. Even though it's not for a couple months away, I still turned it down because those are the little checks and balances I have put in place so that I can, like, still breathe and not be working all the time.
Oh gosh, good for you. I feel like that's a lesson I finally learned that, sometimes we have to say no, and sometimes we have to say no to revenue, right? Like you could look at that job and be like, man, I could really use that extra money for X, Y, and Z. But you already know that that would probably push you over your threshold. And it's so much more freeing and fulfilling to live in that place of balance and harmony, like you said.
Yes. I think of it like, I know I'm a total nerd and I really am interested in science and space, which is a total side note. But when I think about the galaxy, like those stars are always moving, and it's like it's a rhythm. And that's what I think of with my schedule. It's like it's a rhythm. It's definitely moving, and it's definitely got a lot of moving parts, but they all kind of are moving together. And just like with the planets, like I don't ever want them to crash into each other. I want them to kind of have their own space, but still everything be moving together.
I love that. I love that. And see, you say you don't always think creatively. I love that. Also, I feel like you're really good at using like every minute of the day. And I was just talking about this the other day. Like every hour, every section of our day should have a job. Just like all the Dave Ramsey people out there, like every dollar has a job, right? Like I feel
Hmm.
like every hour should have a job. And I just love sharing this story about you with the Shine the Light Challenge. And or maybe it was something we were doing in the Shine Light Society, I forget, but you
Hmm.
had like 10 minutes to kill in your car. And, I think most people would hop on the phone or just like mindlessly scroll or watch Insta stories. But you were like, no, I have 10 minutes. I'm going to use this and be really efficient and really intentional. And I'm going to go and I'm going to do my participation in the challenge and make sure that I'm living up on other people because they've all been sharing my stuff. And that's like one of those little tiny stories about you that I feel like is always going to stand out because that's what separates great leaders and community builders from just everyday entrepreneurs is that they're prioritizing taking care of their community members. So I thought that was super cool.
Well, thank you. And yeah, that was with the Shine the Light. And my thing is like anything social media related, or I mean, you and I Vox and stuff. If I can get that stuff out of the way when I'm not at home, like so, if it's in between client calls at work, or if it's in the morning when my husband's at the gym and I haven't left yet, or I didn't go, those are the times I like to try to sneak in social media, because you can pop in for 10 minutes and then get stuff done, have a presence in my community, have a presence in a couple of groups that I'm in, and then it's like I'm done. And then when
Yeah.
work is done, I can like come home and relax and chill.
Yes. And that's a productive way to use your time on social media. So you're not like just sitting back, playing the comparison game or the shoulda wouldas or whatever. Like you're actually physically putting your hands into, your community and the people that love on you and places that will, what I like to say, help position you as a big fish instead of a small fish.
Right.
So I just feel like that's so good. And that's going to separate you in the long run by doing little things like that.
Thank you. I hope so too.
Yes. So, and I also love that you put in all your personal stuff in your calendar first. So, like your fun time with your husband, your friends, anything else that you're doing for just you, the spirituality that gets in your calendar first. And that was a really hard lesson for me. But I've noticed, like with my spa days, I go to the spa like once a month for usually I get a massage or a facial. I alternate, but if I don't schedule it, it doesn't happen,
Hmm.
right? Because work happens, life happens. So I know that like I have to put that in my calendar or else I'll get slack and I will feel like, oh, I'm too busy. It's too much of a pain to drive out there. But I know how much joy it brings me that I finally learned to prioritize that.
Yeah, that's true. I am like the quintessential outgoing, what's the word? Not extroverted person. And I realized that when I was growing my makeup business, I realized that when I would get with friends, they would be referencing things or talking to things and it's like I wasn't there because I was busy. And I didn't like that feeling. So that's when I said, okay, this is how many makeup jobs I'll do. And I'd rather have, blocked off time for the what ifs and the last minute things, or just to be hanging out by myself or with my husband, than to be totally booked that I'm missing out on stuff. Because one thing, and you and I have talked about this before, it's like once it's in my calendar, once it's an appointment, it's in my calendar. And unless I'm having some major illness or some freak accident, that is staying. And so I started using that logic with personal stuff. And when I started putting the personal stuff first, it made life better. It made life more enjoyable because before I felt like I was like rushing. It was like I was making more money and I was seeing more people and doing more makeup faces. But then it's like I couldn't enjoy it because my husband's irritated because he hasn't seen me, and then I'm making money, but it's not fun to spend it by yourself. I'd like to be with girlfriends or whatever. So that just helped me have more like happiness, I guess, through day to day stuff.
Yes, exactly. That moment where we realize, like, making all the money isn't everything. Sometimes operating from our best self and our best place of service is so much more worth it. And then, yeah, like not missing out on life. I shot so many weddings one year that I was like, gosh, I missed every single Saturday event in all my friends' lives.
Yeah, yeah. And it makes me think about that first question you asked me about pivoting. It was on me for about a year to think about coaching. And last year, my grandmother, she got ill and she eventually passed away. And when she passed away, I was talking to my mom and I was like, she was 93 years old. She lived at home. She had a living caregiver and she was a very spiritual woman and she never stopped her spiritual routine. And I said, even though she was 93, or even though she's not here anymore, unfortunately, no one lives forever, at least she like ended her life doing what she wanted to do. And then that was when I decided I'm just going to push with the coaching because it feels right. And I want to still enjoy my life to the fullest capacity. And if it means starting another business and jumping in headfirst and learning as I go, then I'm going to do that. Because I want, if I was to pass tomorrow or the day after, I want people to say, Kari really used her time doing what she enjoyed and she enjoyed time with others instead of just like work, 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 work.
Yes, yes, definitely. Like leaving our legacy and, helping other people. It's the most rewarding thing. That's what I love so much about coaching and helping people, like it makes us feel good to see other people thrive. I love
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my type A friend, let's switch gears a little bit.
Okay.
Because I feel like this is one of the reasons that you and I balance each other out so well because I'm super creative and you're super organized. So what kind of tips do you have for the messy type B creative dreamers like me?
Well, I think first it's okay to be a creative dreamer and messy because those of us, your type A counterparts, sometimes we can get stuck in a box of just like, I can't do anything because I have to plan it or I have to have all the steps lined up or I can't do B until A is done. And I think that having that creative drive in you is good fuel. So definitely appreciate that. And then as far as like getting things done, you have to have some sort of structure to get things done on a weekly or on a daily basis, but you should still give yourself grace. When if you've got a whole bunch of things to get done and you only get two things done, like, don't trip over the stuff you didn't get done. Celebrate the stuff you did get done, because your personality, you're kind of all over the place, and eventually it'll get done.
I love that. And especially like, as long as we're taking steps and moving forward, it doesn't matter the pace. So, like you said, if you only get two things done, that's better than no things done, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of creatives and anybody really can relate to the paralysis of analysis,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like, I don't know what to focus on and I don't know what to do. So, I'm not going to do anything. So, even if we have a to do list of 4 to 5 things and we only get two done, that's still moving the needle forward. And so many people don't give themselves enough credit for that, or they stay stuck in that place of doing nothing because they feel like they can't get it all done.
Right. And you know what? When I listened to your episode about your 15-hour work week, I was like, she's got some type A organization in there. You sounded like you have those parts of time where you are very like dedicated and intentional with your time. So, just because people aren't type A doesn't mean they can't have, dedicated time or time blocks, even if it's just 20 minutes to knock stuff out.
Yeah. And, like I don't do spreadsheets. I don't do color coding. I don't do anything Excel. That's where my type B really comes in. But I have learned with my scheduling. So the stuff that you were hearing in that episode, it's like me protecting my creative time.
Right.
So, like that zone of genius time where I am getting things done, I have learned how to protect that so that I can thrive because, as creatives, especially like I'm so creative that I really need help focusing, that I've learned how to really protect that zone of genius time. And I have someone on my team who's super type A that does all my Excel spreadsheets for me. And it's like my life has been changed because I'm no longer trying to force myself, to do these tasks that just don't come naturally to me.
Yeah, you'd have someone
So
to do it for you, and then you can stay in your zone of genius, which is perfect.
yes, and like I need the data, we need the information, right? So I need to know from a standpoint like my email numbers and my open rates and my conversion rates, but like my brain does not work in that way. So to have someone that can kind of hold my hand and be on that journey with me has been so life-changing for a super type B.
Yeah.
But yes, I have a little bit of structure, but I feel like the structure is all about protecting my creative time.
Which is good, because I mean, as a type A person, you and I've talked, and I'll get to a thought and I'll be like, I want to do X, but I do not have the creativity to figure out the journey to get there. And then that's
Yeah.
frustrating too, because it's like I'm not that much of a dreamer, and that I get stuck. So it's like I need Elizabeth in my corner to say, oh, I see X and I see that windy road to get you there. And then it's like, okay, once you lay it out, then I'm like, okay, the type A me can click it off. But it's hard to grow and offer new services and keep your business like creative when you don't have a type P person in your corner.
Yes. And that's why, collaboration and community and business besties, like that's why that's so important. I mean, we don't get anywhere alone, right? The brainstorming and talking it out, like that stuff is so valuable.
It is. Yes, it is.
And even if you don't consider yourself a dreamer, you're very ambitious. That's like one of my favorite words is like, being ambitious. Like you're definitely a go-getter. You have big goals and all that good stuff. So you're definitely doing big things. I love it.
Thank you.
Okay, so tell us about your brand new coaching program. I know that I have been on this journey with you a little bit, but like tell us all about it.
Okay, so it is a group program. I have one-on-one services for side hustlers that have businesses in the creative space, and they are side hustlers and they're having difficulty managing their time. I do help one-on-one clients, but my new program that I have been tirelessly working on. So like now I don't have that much harmony because everything is like coaching, 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 coaching. But it's called Thrive to Freedom, and it's a 12-week program. So it's like 6 weeks of education work alternated with 6 implementation weeks. And then there also will be calls, Facebook group, an opportunity to work with me one-on-one for individual questions and concerns. And so that's something that I've really been working on, and I'm super excited about it because that was what put me personally on the next level as far as being an actual entrepreneur, a real life business owner, like thinking like a CEO, but then also the friendships that I have made over the years. I just had coffee with a woman from my very first mastermind that was over 3 years ago. So I'm so excited for the possibilities for my students, my future students, the connections that they will make, and the paths that they will lead from the program. So I'm really excited about it.
Yay. And I love group coaching, being on the being coached side of things a lot more than I ever really thought I was. Cause with my education, sometimes I can be kind of selfish and I'm like, no, I want a one-on-one. But the group coaching programs that I have been in are like crazy valuable because when I see someone else being coached, I'm like, man, I do like suffer from that, or I do need help from that. Like, we can relate so much to everybody else's hurdles that it's almost like you're getting quadruple the amount of coaching because you're getting to like listen in and learn what some of these other people are learning too.
Right. Like, I'm in your program and I jumped on the call because I was able to, and I just asked a random question just to ask something. And then the feedback that I got was like so much more beneficial than what I would have never come across those answers on my own. But then listening to the other ladies on the call with their questions, that I jotted down some notes of things that I might be able to implement in the future. So it's just such a great way to grow. And then to, when you're an entrepreneur, especially a side hustling entrepreneur, you feel like nobody gets you. Your family has no idea, why on earth are you working so hard for this job when you have a perfectly good job? Your coworkers don't get it. And then there's a lot of creatives and entrepreneurs that don't get, why are you still working full time? Why aren't you doing this full time instead? And so to be able to create a space where it's like, yes, you're a side hustler. Yes, you're still working, whether it be because you can't afford not to or because you actually want to. But hey, here's a group of people in the same space as you that totally get you and want to grow with you. And so that's what I cannot wait for it to launch so I can just see the potential unfold.
Yes, I love that. And that call you were on the other day, you answered somebody else's question in like a better way that I could even answer it. And I was like, gosh, like this is exactly why like group input is so priceless. Because even just two people bouncing ideas back and forth, you're kind of limited, but you get four, five, six people in a room, like somebody is going to have that magic wand answer for everything.
Right, exactly. Yep.
That's so fun. Cool. Okay. Well, I also had an episode about like what makes you unique. So tell us a little bit about what makes the program unique or what makes you unique. Like, what do you think is going to make this stand out from every other coaching program out there?
What I think is going to make it unique is that everything is really hinging around managing your time. Because even entrepreneurs like you that are full time, I've had a lot of interest from ladies who are stay at home moms. So the job is technically full time, but really the littles at home is, the side hustle or vice versa. So every module, every pillar, every lesson is going to be focused around managing your time. How can you create packages that serve your business and you can still manage your time? Like, how can you grow your business and still have date night with your husband and out with the kids? I think that's really unique. And then I don't really see people in the space of encouraging people to have successful businesses in spite of having a full-time job. And I think that makes it unique also.
Yes, definitely. Like especially bringing women together in a space who are all in that boat for sure. And then oh my gosh, the time management stuff, like people say that time is like definitely one of those top pain points. Like people will pay anything to get more time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like even just thinking about my own life, I'm like, gosh, if I had one more day, if I had one more hour, if I had one more day, like it's huge. Time is like this huge thing, but it's also like a big mindset block sometimes, right? Like, and we can break down some of those blocks where we have that illusion of like not enough time, but just because we're not balancing it or we're not balancing our thoughts, sometimes it's not a physical time, but like we just get overwhelmed in our thoughts. That used to be me. Like I could sit in a room and do absolutely nothing and be like, I'm so busy.
Right.
Like, I'm the busiest person ever, and
Right.
I'm sitting on the couch as I say that.
They don't know
Oh
what's
my
swirling
gosh.
around in this head of mine. Like, if all this was real, do you know how busy I would be?
I know. It's so funny. But I love that. The time management stuff is huge and it's so priceless and you're so good at it. So I know that's going to be such a hit.
Thank you.
All right. So Creative at Heart next week.
Yes.
And tell us about, you said you're a little bit nervous. Tell us about that.
Okay, so I'm nervous because one, someone else pitched me to be a speaker. W- And I just said, "Sure, I'll talk about it." And then it was like when it actually happened and the offer came to me, I just did not think I did not think it was going to happen. So just trying to get my mind around it. I have never spoken in front of people as far as a business. I've talked to clients and things like that on one-on-one basis, but to actually be in front of 15 to 30 real live people, that was like super intimidating, and I've never been an attendee either, so I don't have the past experience. So I still am dealing with worrying about were people going to think I was like a fraud, or like not all the way real, or was I just dialing it in. Am I really meant to be having these sessions with other people? I'm literally rubbing shoulders with people I have fangirled on Instagram for years. So that's like, oh. But then on the flip side, there's one person, you and I are in a group program with another coach, and there's a woman in that program who's going to the conference too. So we met in January at the live event, and then I get to see her again in person and, like talk to her face to face. So those kind of things make me super excited to meet people that I've seen in the past and see them again. But then the newness of being a breakout speaker and leading a conversation, I've been practicing so much, so I know that I've got it down. But it's just the newness of it that makes me still nervous and scared. But I will, since I can be very analytical, so when it's time, I will tell myself, you can do this. Like, just put the feelings aside. And then when it's over, I'll probably have, a breakout moment.
I love it. Oh my gosh. But like, we've been in Shine the Light, we've been talking about being uncomfortable. And like, this is literally like this is a breaking moment, of like, okay, I'm going to get really uncomfortable and I'm going to do this thing, but I know that it's going to help me grow and it's going to be so beneficial. And I promise afterwards, you're going to have people that come up to you and you have somehow impacted them or helped them.
Yeah, and you and I have had conversations, and you've been talking me off the ledge, like, Kari, you can do this. It's not, it's not worth being that scared about. And I actually talked to our mutual coach Amber this morning, and something that she said on the same lines of what you said is just people want to be coached by people that are a few steps ahead of them. People don't want to be coached from someone that's like 15 steps ahead of them because it feels like they're too far out. So just speaking to, I am going to go, and the first thing, probably one of the first things I'm going to say is, hey guys, I'm nervous. I'm really nervous. I'm comfortable with what I'm talking about. And I think I can give you a lot of value, but I'm just going to put it out there. I'm not going to fake the funk and act like I've been doing this for 15 years. I'm going to be like, I'm scared. Bear with me. I might say a lot. My husband says I say when I get nervous. So I'm just going to put all of those things out there to calm myself. But then on the flip side, I can see the benefit that can make me more relatable, and people might be able to get more out of my my talks and my panels.
Yes, I was just gonna make sure that it's okay to say you're nervous. Like
Yes.
I was in a like an interview opportunity today where I was super nervous and like I was like, okay, my palms are sweating. Like I'm really excited about this, but my palms are sweating. I'm a little uncomfortable right now. But that's what makes us grow is stepping into that place of discomfort. And I've told you this before, but some of your amazing qualities are just that you're so humble and that you're so kind, and people are going to like eat that up like cake because it's so relatable and it's vulnerable. So, it's it stinks because we want to like picture ourselves like this magical unicorn on the stage that's like totally fearless, but people love vulnerability.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That is
I
true.
saw this cute girl speak one time. She'd never spoken in her life and it was in a contest. So she kind of had to. And like, I mean, her hands were trembling. She was so awkward. You almost like felt awkward for her, but it was so endearing. And like so many of us in the room voted for the simple fact of like watching her overcome that, like that's powerful.
Hmm. Yeah, it is.
I love it. Okay, so aside from your course and Creative at Heart, what else are you just super excited about moving forward?
I'm really excited about the growth of my business. I really feel like I'm trying to work. Well, I'm not trying. I am working hard at increasing my visibility, opening my mouth, letting people know I'm here. I offer this service. I'm still very much doing makeup. If you need your face painted, go ahead and give me a call. I do travel, but I'm really excited to help other creatives, just creative entrepreneurs. And I just feel like a year from now, it's gonna impact my life. Who knows what the future holds, but I feel like it's got good stuff, and I'm excited for that ride of wherever it leads me.
I love that. And I love when you Vox me and you're like, I don't know, but everything just feels good. I feel like I have momentum. Like, isn't that the best feeling? I love that. And you just know that good things are coming and your success is inevitable because you're putting in the work and everything feels aligned.
Yeah, like someone messaged me yesterday on Instagram. It was just like, "Girl, you are really giving us some great content. Like you are really providing value." Some stranger that I just, felt the need to tell me that just made my day. That just totally made my day.
Yes. Oh my gosh. If anybody's listening and there's like, maybe it's this podcast or maybe something else has impacted you, or you kind of had a moment where you felt like that, definitely message the person and tell them, because behind the scenes, we are working so hard and our hearts are on our sleeves. And those one little messages can totally change our day.
Yes, that's true.
I know, I love it. It's like the power of like, if we do this for other people, then other people will do it for us. Like it's such a chain reaction. Like definitely always tell people when they're impacting you, when they're changing their life, when you love following them, especially if they're not already like super insta famous and not checking their messages. Like us,
Right.
us everyday people, we are ready for those messages.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Something else that you're really good to that I think is separating you so quickly is that you're really good about investing in your business. Um, Tell us, or maybe people that are scared to invest in their business, like, has there ever been like, a moment where you just know like this is the right thing to do? Because it can be scary to pull the trigger. And I know that we're in Amber's program together. You're in my program. And you did Raina's Dreamy Client one.
Mhm.
I feel like there was one more too.
Yeah, someone to help me with coaching. I just feel
Hmm.
like to the other side, I'm a physical therapist, so I'm trained, I'm licensed in the state of Georgia. I take my CEUs. I think I am a nerd and I love education. I love to learn. But with my makeup business, I did not want to spend money. And so what I accomplished in the last 3 years of my business compared to the first 3 years of my business, it's complete night and day. And the change happened when I invested in that first program. So I can see personally that, like, when I think about my coaching business and the clients that I want to help, I don't want to waste 3 years doing it by myself. So that's why I just went feet first, all in, invested in these programs. I know I will get it on the back end because I know once, even if it's something free, I will be dedicated to the effort and the work and everything like that. So from wasting time and trying to do it by myself and trying to not waste money with my makeup business compared to when I was at the point where I was like, I'm going to quit. And my husband's like, you're too good to quit. And I'm like, I can't find any paid clients. And the ones that I have, I don't like. So I don't know what's going to happen. And then that's when I was like, well, maybe I need someone to help me. And it just totally changed. It's like I haven't looked back since. But
Oh my gosh, I know.
I'm sorry. One other
No,
thing.
I was just agreeing with you. Yeah.
But since I was an entrepreneur for a while with the makeup business, I started to learn how I enjoy learning the types of coaches, the types of educators that I like to work with. So then when it was time for me to invest with coaching, I kind of had a blueprint to duplicate because I already kind of knew the types of people I wanted to work with and why.
Oh, I love that. And I just always say, people are only going to take us as seriously as we take ourselves. And when you really invest in your business and you show up in that way, like the world knows you're taking yourself seriously. And that's important.
Yes, it is because people won't invest in you if you are offering a service and you still have a free website. Like, why would I pay you? You didn't even get a website that was like, with the security label and stuff like that. So those kind of things matter for potential clients.
Yes, definitely. Like if you're just like out in the world and you're like portfolio building and kind of, whatever it is, then that's fine. But I completely agree that like the whatever we, however seriously we take ourselves, the mirror of life and the universe is going to reflect back on us.
Mhm.
And it's so important. I love that. Yay. Oh my gosh, this was so good. So go ahead and tell everyone where they can find you.
Okay, so my name is Kari, Kari. So KariRobertsCoaching.com. And then Instagram is Kari Roberts Coaching. And then Facebook is Kari Roberts Coaching.
Awesome. And your doors are opening for your coaching program very soon,
Yes.
right? Do you have I don't know if you have the date in front of you.
I don't even need to look. It is July 17th. The doors open July 17th, and then class begins August the 1st.
Awesome. And you have some freebies set up on your website, right? If people want to get in the scoop early or get on the waiting
Yes, I
list.
have links to get on the waiting list for the Thrive to Freedom workshop. And then I also have some free downloadables so that people can, get on my email list and get my contact that way. And then for your listeners, I have a 20% off coupon. Now, if they want to be an early bird with the Thrive to Freedom, the early bird is cheaper than the 20% off. But if they want one-on-one services, they can get the coupon at KariRobertsCoaching.com/coupon.
I love that. And I'm so glad you mentioned the early bird because I was like winking as I'm like, in the microphone, like winking, like, okay, you have a waiting list, right? So I was getting ready to be like, all my people, go sign up. You're going to want to be on the waiting
Yes.
list because I knew you were going to roll out the early bird
Yes, yes,
stuff.
yes.
So make sure you guys get on the waiting list so that you don't miss the early bird special, especially because I know I have a ton of listeners who are doing the full-time job and the side hustle, or the stay-at-home mom and the side hustle, or the multiple passionate entrepreneurs who have, oil businesses on top of photography business, on top of blogging or writing or all the things.
Yes.
So it all
It does
counts.
all count. Yep, it sure does. And the type A in me already
Aw.
wrote those emails, so we're good to go.
Oh my God, that is so crazy, Carrie. I have not written my email for Monday. And it is Friday at 6:33. That is amazing. See, this is when I'm like, God, I wish I had a little bit of that type A because I'm gonna like stretch my arms from my blanket on Monday morning and be like, oh yeah, okay, go to your computer, write your
Yeah, it's
email.
like something will pop in my head, and then it's like my husband's my barometer. Are you are you okay? Like, let me sneak off to the office for 30 minutes because he's a big sports person, but we like to watch sports together. So it's like, can I walk away from this quarter and knock this out real quick? But I'm used to my system, so I usually just copy the last one I did, make a couple of changes, add the link, and boom.
Yes, I've gotten more efficient too, and now that I have my project manager, we're starting to take that stuff off my plate slowly but surely. So thank goodness. But I just love that about you. You're so organized. It always blows my mind. Like even when we started working together, you're like, okay, what's next? What's next? I got that done. Got that done. I'm like, you are seriously magic right now.
And then they'll be like 2 weeks later, I'm like near tears. Oh, I'm so broken. But
Oh
my
my gosh,
husband,
no, you're
he
doing
does
great.
not see that side of me. He is not an entrepreneur at all. So he's like, yeah, it looks like you're wasting a lot of time on the computer. So it's so funny. Like entrepreneur friends will be like, how do you do this? And my husband's looking at me like, did you know the dogs need food? And I'm kind of, did you want to put a load of laundry? And it's like, oh, I'm gonna get to that. But I really time block aside from like the little stuff, like I just went and did that email because I had some downtime. But like when I'm working on my business, I don't multitask anymore. So then I'm like, babe, it's got its time. Trust me, it's got its space. But if I don't do it when he thinks I could do it, then in his mind, I'm wasting time. So it's interesting. He does not
Mhm.
think I'm that organized at all.
That's so funny when in your mind you probably already know exactly when that chore is going to
Exactly.
happen.
Yep, exactly.
That is so funny. Oh my gosh, my husband doesn't even pay attention. But you guys are so cute. I feel like you're so intentional about spending time with him and you guys have so many good business conversations because it's so often that we don't see that where the spouse is like either not supportive or not involved and I just like love the vibe that you give off when you talk about your
Yeah, and it's
husband.
just the two of us. It's us two and the two dogs. We are our family. So he's got and if it wasn't for these businesses, we would probably be spending like every minute together outside of work. So I'm his best friend, he's my best friend, we're buddies, and so we like to do the same things. And so I'm very cognizant when I'm doing things apart from him, how far am I going and how much energy am I giving it, because it is everything that I'm doing with my business and my side hustles is time away from him, in all honesty.
Yeah, yeah. I love that though. You really have it down. Cool. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to put all of your links, all of your goodies into the show notes so that everybody can find you. If you're listening, go say hi to Kari on Instagram. She's wonderful. And I just can't wait to see you roll out the coaching program and just to watch you grow into an entrepreneur coach, because you are already there,
Thank you.
girlfriend.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.
Yes, I'm so, so glad. So I will be in touch very soon. And thank you so much for joining
Okay, see you
us.
next time.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the Messy Success Podcast. To find all of Kari's information and all about her new coaching program, you can go to elizabethhinsonphotos.com/39. elizabethhinsonphotos.com/39. Go say hi, give her a visit on the Instagram, say hello, tell her you enjoyed this episode. And I hope that everyone has an amazing July 4th. We are going to be taking off next week, so we will not have a new episode next week, but we will see you shortly after. I cannot wait. I have, really worked hard this week to set myself up to take a week off. I cannot remember the last time I took a full week off of work. So go me. I'm so excited. We have family coming in town. It's going to be so great. Really, really, really excited about it. I hope that you guys also get to unplug and enjoy your holiday. So I will see you soon.